Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are taking a look at the first gameplay of the BZT-70, a Tier 10 Chinese Super Heavy, a vehicle that features the largest armament now on any heavy in the game. It does 910 damage per shot, and it has Hesh, which does 1200 damage per shot. Yes, you heard that right. The BZT-70. An incredibly weird looking tank. I don't know. It looks like you got a T-95 and then just put a turret on the top of it. It actually looks pretty dang sick. And in today's video, we're not only going to be showcasing the statistics, armor, but also what this tank can do. Now, this battle was submitted to me by Ahmed Steel. And I don't know if you saw that, but that T100 LT has minus 990 health. And that is because the BZT just obliterated that T100's hit point pool. It's kind of wild just what the tank can do. So what we're going to do here is if we actually skip ahead in the replay, we can see that our Caro dies, which is perfect, because now it allows us to just look at the BZT-70's point of view. There's 650 on the base cap, and hopefully we're going to see some nasty shells. Now, the lower plate of this tank is huge, and it is a big weak spot, but it has a lot more armor than you would think, and it definitely allows this tank to be incredibly dangerous. But there are a lot of downsides for this vehicle as well. The biggest downside is the reload, a 23-second reload with calibrated shells. By the way, you may have noticed, because this tank has 4 sets of tracks, it can still reverse even when, I'm pretty sure one of its tracks are broken. I don't know if you saw that, but it was reversing even when its track was broken, which is kind of cool. Now we have the enemy VK-72 aiming. Oh, 348 damage high explosive. Did you see how slow this thing's shell velocity is? It's pretty bad. And that's because this vehicle features the worst shell velocity for a tier 10 in the game. Now, personally, even though the shell velocity is awful, I'd still be running enhanced gun lane drive versus supercharger. We got the enemy super conch right in front. Will the BZT be able to hit the super conch? Aiming it on the lower plate. Oh my god. 1200 damage. Yes, you read that correctly. That was a 1200 damage smack into the lower plate of that super conqueror. That is wild. And once again, it showcases what the BZT can do. A 3005 damage battle, and kind of wild when you actually think about it. So we're going to go over briefly the armor of this tank and the gun, so you can get an idea of what we're working with here when it comes to this vehicle. So first of all, we have the tank, and it's huge. I mean, you saw the size of this vehicle. Honestly, it has pretty good armor. If we put an average heavy up against it, like a Yo, the mid plate's 300 thick, so you have to load gold to pen that mid plate. And if it's slightly angled, as we can see, that mid plate is now over 330. It's actually really strong. The upper plate on this vehicle is way too steep, and you won't be able to pen it. So then that brings us to the most important part of this vehicle, which is the turret. How is the turret armor? Well, it's actually ridiculously strong. Even with calibrated shells, you will not cut through the turret. It's around 380 thick base, so yeah, you're not going to cut through that unless it's on flat ground, and even then it's still 350. So really the only weak spots are the hatches, but they are weak. They're only about 180-ish, and they are very large. Both hatches are weak spots as well, so that is going to be the main area you're going to shoot this tank. Same for the lower plate, it's only about 170 thick. But as we can see, because it's got these 4 tracks, it's very, very good at angling and side scraping. But you do have this cutout here, which is a weak point, so you have weak points all over the vehicle. While its armor is good, it's nothing insane. You will definitely be able to pen it in any spot that it's using, whether it's gun depression, whether it's the lower plate, or whether it's the side armor due to this cutout here. There will always be a spot to penetrate the vehicle. Now, when it comes to the gun, the tank has 2,300 DPM, which makes it one of the worst damage per minute values in tier 10, but if you load Hesh, that DPM goes to 3,000. So technically, it doesn't have bad damage per minute. It's really just depending on if you pen your shots or not. And honestly, who cares if it has 2,300 DPM? You deal 910 damage on a penning shot, and you have 240 module damage. Like, it doesn't matter what the DPM is. It's still plenty, and it just rips out damage. The tank has 270 standard pen, and with its Hesh, it has 227 mils premium. That's actually pretty good pen. It also has standard HE with 100 millimeters, and it does 1,350 damage. Yeah, if you get the back or side of a lightly armored vehicle, you can just wreck the tank. Kind of wild. If we take a look at the shell velocity, though, it's pretty bad. It's 500 meters a second. Yes, you can run supercharger, which makes it 675, but I mean, the aiming time is awful. It's not actually like the worst aiming time, but it's not good. And when you look at the dispersion values, that's where it's really bad. With refined gun, it is 0.385. Yeah, you heard that right. With refined gun, it's 0.385, which makes it still 0.45 dispersion base. It is by far one of the worst guns in the game. It's actually tragic how inaccurate it is. Its on-movement dispersion is the worst in the game. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. You're basically using a Caliban. In fact, if we go over to Tankopedia, and we go to Tier 8, and we go to British, and we click on the Caliban, we can compare the guns. The Caliban has basically the same dispersion sitting still. And the Caliban has 0.35 dispersion on move, and 0.163 on turret traverse. Let's compare that to the BZT, which is with... Oh wait, yeah, no, that is refined. So it does have better on-movement dispersion. It does, but base dispersion is literally the same as the Caliban. So it's pretty bad. It is pretty dang awful when you're going to be using the vehicle. Now we have some more gameplay we can look at here. Let's look at one more battle. How about the other Lost Temple game? This one's pretty good too, because the BZT plays right next to the Karo. So if we scooch up here on the replay, we can see there's the BZT. Now, the tank actually doesn't have a crazy amount of health. It's only 2,400 with enhanced, 2,500 with extra HP. It's not really that much HP for how big the vehicle is. I mean, look at the size of the thing. It's huge. But again, it does a pretty good armor. I want to see if it slaps anybody. There you go. 613 pen into that 121. And that's with that vehicle running reactive armor as well. So that is, that's a pretty big chunker there. Now, the BZT is going to... well, reload, and our car is going to move up, so this is perfect, right? We get prime real estate to watch this BZT gameplay. So, the BZT gets penned, and it's actually kind of a perfect spot to hide the lower plate. There you go. You can see how long that thing's reload is, though. Waiting and waiting and waiting to get that shell out. BZT, does he shoot? He does. Unfortunately, the shell misses. I mean, with how inaccurate the tank is, it's going to be hard to reliably hit your shots, and we can see that. But at the end of the day, when you do pen your shot, you take off a third of any tier 10 heavy and half of any tier 10 medium. That is still kind of wild. Nice shot into the T95 there. And we got the Kampfpanzer, which I just load gold. Let's see. BZT has another shot now. Let's see if we can get a nasty chunker. 113's poking. Ooh, 972 into the 113. Again, that is crazy. 972. Like, what the heck? I've talked to some testers, and I obviously can't share their names because Wargaming will not be happy, but I've talked to some testers, and they've all said the tank's an utter pile of crap. But in my eyes, it doesn't matter how much crap the tank is. It just took a full health KPZ and obliterated it. Like, at the end, it does 1,200 damage. If you make a poor play and this vehicle pokes around a corner and you're not looking that direction in that brief moment, it literally has the ability to nuke you, right? That's the difference. The 183 is really, really dangerous because of the fact that it has, you know, really high alpha, decent DPM, and all these other things. But the thing about the 183 is that it's not a scary tank in frontline because it doesn't really frontline. But the BZT, it's a heavy. So when you're in a heavy or you're in a medium and that tank's not spotted, you don't know where it is, and it's probably going to be spotted somewhere in front of you. And that really scares me. Now, I know that in the past I've said I want Wargaming to replace the 183 with a heavy tank that has 183 style alpha. But the problem is the BZT actually has armor. I made sure to clarify that I would like a Caliban, but tier 10. Because I think we can all agree the Caliban is not a tank that really scares anybody. Sure, the thing has a lot of damage per shot, but because it has zero armor, it's always spotted, it's super slow, it's very hard for the Caliban to actually do anything threatening. The problem with the BZT is it actually has really good armor. The gun sucks. That part, it's got covered. but the armor of the tank is actually pretty good, and it means that the vehicle will still be able to get bounces and frontline, and that scares me. That really scares me. So I want you guys to let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions about this vehicle. Now, I will say it's not fast, so that is good news. The vehicle has a top speed of 32, it reverses at 12. So while it does have these really good things going for it, at the end of the day, it's a 23-second reload. It has awful reverse speed, awful top speed. It has a pretty mid power to weight. It's not going to be a good tank. If you're thinking that this vehicle is going to be overpowered, it's not. It's the same people that thought the Waffenträger was going to be overpowered, right? At the end of the day, it's not going to be OP, but I am interested on playing it. I'm really excited to see how it does play when I mess around with it. So we'll have to find out. I'm not going to fully say it's going to be bad yet. I think that any tank that can do 900 damage is inherently overpowered, but we'll have to find out. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.